Hi guys, my name is Emily Sreenan and I'm a sophomore on the cross country and track teams at UD. And the summer before my senior year of high school, I went to this conference called the Student Catholic Youth Conference. And I remember that one of the speakers there was describing what our ideal relationship with God should be like. And he said it was kind of like when he used to come home from work and his daughter would just jump it off the stairs into his arms. And she never really thought about whether he would catch her, she would just jump. And he said that that was the kind of trust that we should have in God. And when I was younger, it was really easy for me to have a relationship with God like that. I've grown up in a devout Catholic family, and faith is something that's been really important to me since I was little. But as I got older, having that easy relationship with God was a lot harder. I wanted to be perfect, and I started striving for that perfection in everything, in running, in school. I started listening to the voices around me a lot more than I listened to God's voice. And pretty soon, other people started expecting perfect out of me too. And I started basing my worth on straight A's and gold medals. And if I didn't win the race, I wasn't good enough. And I started feeling like I just wasn't compassionate enough, smart enough, athletic enough, pretty enough. And I just always felt disappointed in myself, and I started building walls and pushing people away. And then I really just started going through the motions of faith and everything, really. And then my junior year of high school, stuff started to crumble around me, and outwardly everything looked really good. I won state and cross country that year, and school was going really well. I seemed to be succeeding by my standards. But I felt really empty and anxious all the time, and I was depressed and lonely. And by the end of track season, running and faith were kind of just things that I was checking off my to-do list. I didn't love running, and I didn't really love me either. And I was kind of holding all that hurt inside me when I heard the words of that speaker at Steubenville a few months later. And then I remember we spent the next hour in silent prayer, and I just kind of let go of everything and really encountered God in that moment. And I let him tear down the walls. I let him love me, let him hold me, and I just listened to him finally. I was able to start to heal and be myself and realize that I really hadn't relied on him in all the moments that I had felt the weakest in the past couple of years. And then that really just started the healing process for me. And then a couple months later, I got a stress fracture in my tibia, and that actually ended up being a good thing in the long run. All of a sudden, all the pressure to perform was gone, and I still got to finish my cross-country season, and this time I ran freely again. My favorite race of high school was my last high school state meet. I placed worse than I'd ever run before. I ran the worst time I'd ever run, but this time I ran for God, and I didn't feel so alone. And after that race, I remember my high school campus minister gave me a bracelet that said, "Find joy in the journey." She really just wanted to remind me to find the good moments, see God in everything, and compete for God with joy in my heart. And when I got to college, I realized that a lot of my teammates had felt the same way that I did, and that I wasn't alone. So now I try really hard to look and live for the little moments, and when negative thoughts and feelings creep in, I acknowledge them, and then I give them to God. And I talk about them with him and with people who love me. And I really remind myself of God's love for me. So this quarantine is going to be one of those moments along the journey that I hope leads me closer to God. I miss my friends, I miss my team, and it's a scary time, but I hope that this will be a time that I can spend more time with God and devote my time to him. And finally, I just want to say that sometimes I've learned that God lets things crumble, maybe because they were holding us back, or maybe so he can help us build them back up again with him as the foundation. So just like when I used to jump into my dad's arms, I have to be willing to jump and trust that God will catch me every time. So as God reaches out to me, I'm learning to take that leap of faith and live like I am loved, because we all are, fully, beautifully, and unconditionally. Thanks, guys.